She announced, "I'm keeping my ex in my life. Deal with it or leave." I said, "I choose option 3. I invited her ex to lunch, without her. What he told me about her had me packing her bags before she got home. Original post 38 male, was floored when my girlfriend Nicole, 36, dropped this bomb last Tuesday. We'd been together 18 months, living in my townhouse for the last 6. Everything seemed solid until Derek showed up. Derek's her ex-husband. They divorced 4 years ago, supposedly, amicably. He moved back to town last month for work, and suddenly Nicole's having coffee with him every Friday, texting him constantly, and even invited him to our Labor Day barbecue without asking me. When I brought it up, she went full defensive mode. Look, Derek's important to me. We share history. Just because we divorced doesn't mean I have to cut him out completely. Nicole, he's texting you goodnight messages. That's not normal ex behavior. She rolled her eyes. You're being insecure. Derek and I are mature adults who stayed friends. If you can't handle that, maybe this relationship isn't for you. So you're choosing maintaining this friendship over my comfort in our relationship? That's when she said it. I'm keeping Derek in my life. Deal with it or leave. The ultimatum hung in the air. I nodded slowly. Okay, I understand your position. She smiled, thinking she'd won. Good, I'm glad you're being reasonable. Actually, I said, I choose option 3. What option 3? I'll figure it out. She laughed it off, assuming I was accepting her terms. That night, while she was asleep, I found Derek's business card on her desk. She'd left it right there, bold as brass. Investment advisor at some firm downtown. Wednesday morning, I called him. Derek? This is Tom, Nicole's boyfriend. I was wondering if you'd be free for lunch tomorrow. Just the 2 of us. Long pause. Does Nicole know about this? No, that's kind of the point. I think we should talk man to man. Another pause. Yeah, okay. Where and when? We met at a steakhouse downtown. Derek looked nervous, kept checking his phone. I got straight to it. Look, Derek, I'm not here to threaten you or anything. I just need to know what's actually going on with you and Nicole. He shifted uncomfortably. Nothing's going on. We're just friends. Friends who text goodnight? Friends where she's prioritizing you over her current relationship. Derek sighed, rubbed his face. Man, you seem like a decent guy. You deserve to know. Nicole's always been like this. Like what? She needs backup options. Always has. When we were married, she kept her college ex, Brad, around the same way. Constant texting, coffee dates, telling me I was being controlling when I objected. My stomach dropped. What happened with Brad? Found them in our bed 6 months before the divorce. She swore it was the first time, but he shrugged. The amicable divorce? That was her narrative. Truth is, she cleaned me out, kept the house, got alimony even though she was the one who cheated. Her lawyer was her dad's golf buddy. Why didn't you fight it? I had just started my business, couldn't afford a long legal battle. Plus, she had photos of me from a bachelor party that, well, taken out of context, wouldn't have looked good in court. Nothing illegal, but you know how these things can be spun. I sat back, processing. And now she's keeping you around as... backup. Yeah, she's been hinting about getting back together actually, says things aren't working out with you. That hit like a punch. She said that? Derek pulled out his phone, showed me texts from Nicole. Tom's sweet but kind of boring. Remember our trip to Napa? Those were good times. Maybe we gave up too soon? All dated within the last week. I haven't encouraged it, Derek said quickly. I'm seeing someone myself now, but Nicole doesn't know that. I've been trying to keep distance, but she's persistent. Why are you telling me this? Derek looked genuinely sympathetic, because I wish someone had warned me about Brad. And because... He hesitated. Look, check your credit report. Check if she's on any of your accounts. When we divorced, I discovered she'd opened 3 credit cards in my name, maxed them out. We talked for another hour. Derek told me about mysterious charges, about Nicole's spending habits, about how she'd convinced him to add her to his investment account for emergencies, then drained $30,000 for what she called self-care expenses. I paid for lunch, thanked Derek, and drove home in a daze. Nicole wouldn't be back until evening. Wednesday was her yoga and wine night with friends. I had 4 hours. Update 1. First thing I did was check my credit report online. Sure enough, there was a credit inquiry from 2 weeks ago that I didn't recognize. The application was denied, but she'd tried. She'd actually tried to open a card in my name. Then I went through my office. In my filing cabinet, I found papers she'd organized for me. Hidden between tax returns was a document adding her as a beneficiary to my 401k. It was filled out, but not signed. She'd been waiting for the right moment, probably planning to slip it in with other papers. I checked my Amazon account. She'd been ordering things and having them shipped to her friend Melissa's house. Designer bags, jewelry, stuff that never came to our place. All on my saved credit card. But the real kicker was in her closet. While packing her clothes, I found a folder labeled Future Planning. Inside were printouts of houses, all way above our budget, and a business plan for a boutique she wanted to open. The financing section? Tom's investment, $150,000. I'd never agreed to any investment. We'd never even discussed it. By 5 p.m., I had changed all my passwords, removed her as an authorized user on my credit card, packed all her belongings in boxes, screenshot everything suspicious, called a locksmith for Friday, giving her 2 days to get her stuff. She came home at 8, slightly tipsy, giggling on the phone with someone. "Hey, babe," she called out, then stopped. The living room was full of boxes. Her boxes. "Tom, what's going on?" "I had lunch with Derek today." Her face went white. The phone slipped from her hand. "You? What?" Interesting conversation. "Brad came up. So did the credit cards you opened in Derek's name." "I can explain. The credit application you tried to submit in my name 2 weeks ago?" Her mouth opened and closed like a fish. "The Amazon purchases to Melissa's house? The 401k beneficiary form? The 105k you plan to take for your boutique? I was just thinking about our future." "Our future? While texting your ex that I'm boring and you maybe gave up too soon?" She actually tried to deny it until I showed her the screenshots Derek sent me. Then came the tears. But not sad tears. Angry ones. "You had no right to go behind my back." "That's rich, coming from you." "Derek is lying. He's trying to break us up because he wants me back." "Derek's in a relationship. Has been for 8 months. He showed me pictures of them together." That stopped her cold. "What? Yeah, your backup option has moved on and so have I. You have until Friday to get your stuff. You're not staying here tonight." "You can't just throw me out. I live here." "You're a guest who doesn't pay rent. No lease, no tenant rights." I checked. Update 2. Nicole didn't go quietly. She called the cops that very night, claiming I'd stolen her belongings and locked her out illegally. The officers arrived at 11 p.m. "Sir, your girlfriend says you've illegally evicted her." I showed them my deed, proof she wasn't on any lease, and explained she was a guest who I'd asked to leave after discovering attempted identity theft. I showed them the credit application she'd tried to submit. "Ma'am," the older officer turned to Nicole, "attempting to open credit accounts in someone else's name is a federal crime." Nicole backpedaled fast. "It was a misunderstanding. I thought we were basically married." The officers told her it was a civil matter, but advised her to collect her belongings and find somewhere else to stay. She left in an Uber, screaming that I'd regret this. Thursday morning, my phone started blowing up. Nicole had posted on social media that I'd thrown her out on the street after going crazy with jealousy over her completely innocent friendship with her ex. Her friends came at me hard. Melissa called me every name in the book. Nicole's sister Ashley threatened to expose me for the abuser I was. The problem? They didn't know about the financial fraud attempts. I posted my own update. Simple and factual. Since people are asking, I ended my relationship after discovering my ex attempted to open credit cards in my name and was planning to take $150,000 from my accounts without my knowledge. I have documentation and have consulted both police and a lawyer. The tide turned instantly. Melissa went quiet. Ashley deleted her posts, but Nicole doubled down. Thursday afternoon, she showed up at my work with Derek. Yeah, she brought Derek to my office. "Tom," she called out in the lobby. Loud enough for everyone to hear. "We need to talk about this like adults." Security started moving toward her, but I waved them off. I'd handle this. "Nicole, you need to leave." "Not until you listen. Tell him, Derek. Tell him how you lied." Derek looked supremely uncomfortable. "Nicole, I told him the truth." "No, you're supposed to. You said you'd help me." You told me we were coming here to get your work laptop that you left in his office. The security guard stepped forward. Sir, should we call the police? Not yet, I said. Then to Nicole. You have 1 minute to leave before I file a restraining order. You wouldn't dare. My dad's a lawyer. Your dad's a real estate lawyer who's semi-retired. I have a criminal attorney. Want to test who wins? She stomped her foot. Actually stomped it like a toddler. This isn't over. Derek apologized profusely as security escorted them out. Later he texted me. Now you see why I didn't fight the divorce. She's exhausting. Update 3 Friday morning, the day of the locksmith appointment. Nicole's parents showed up. Her mom, Deb, was crying. Her dad, Robert, tried to look intimidating despite being 5'7" and wearing khakis. Tom, let's discuss this reasonably, Robert started. There's nothing to discuss. Nicole attempted fraud. She was confused about your relationship status. We're not married. We weren't engaged. Being confused doesn't make fraud legal. Deb jumped in. She loves you. She made mistakes, but throwing her out? She was setting up her ex-husband as a backup plan while trying to drain my accounts. What would you do? We'd work through it like adults, Robert puffed up. Not act like a child having a tantrum. I laughed. Actually laughed. A tantrum? Your daughter tried to steal $150K and I'm having a tantrum? She wasn't stealing, she was planning your future together. Without telling me? While texting her ex that I'm boring. They didn't know about the texts. I showed them. Deb's face fell. This doesn't sound like our Nicole. Maybe you don't know your Nicole as well as you think. Robert tried another angle. Look, we'll make this right. We'll pay back the Amazon purchases. Just give her another chance. It's not about the money. It's about trust and legality and the fact that she's done this before. That's a lie, Deb protested. Derek was abusive. He controlled her money. Derek has receipts showing she opened 3 credit cards in his name. Want to see those too? They went quiet. Finally, Robert spoke. What do you want? I want Nicole to get her stuff and never contact me again. She has nowhere to go. She's 36 years old with a full-time job. That's not my problem. The locksmith arrived while they were still there. Changed the locks right in front of them. Nicole showed up an hour later, saw the new locks, and lost it. You changed them before I could get my stuff. Your stuff's in the garage, I said through the Ring doorbell. Garage code is 1234. Take it and go. I need to check inside. Make sure you didn't keep anything. Everything you own is in those boxes. Anything you left is considered abandoned property now. She spent 2 hours going through boxes in my driveway, making a scene until neighbors started coming out to watch. Finally, her parents convinced her to leave. Update 4, I thought it was over. I was wrong. Monday morning, I got a call from my bank. Someone had tried to wire transfer $5,000 from my account. The only reason it failed? I'd set up 2-factor authentication the week before, and they couldn't complete the verification. The attempt was made from Nicole's laptop IP address. She'd saved my banking password from when I'd used her computer once. This was it. I'd been patient, but attempted wire fraud. That's prison time. I filed a police report. The detective was very interested, especially when I showed him the pattern: attempted credit card fraud, attempted wire fraud, the 401k forms. This is systematic financial exploitation, he said. We take this seriously. They arrested Nicole at her work Tuesday afternoon, in front of all her colleagues. She called me from jail that night on a recorded line. Tom, please, drop the charges. I was desperate. You threw me out with nothing. Nicole, this call is being recorded. Are you confessing to attempting wire fraud? Click. Her dad bailed her out and hired a lawyer. A real criminal defense attorney this time, not his golf buddy. The lawyer called me Thursday. My client is willing to make restitution for any damages in exchange for dropping charges. Your client attempted multiple forms of fraud over several weeks. That's a pattern of criminal behavior. I'm not dropping anything. This could ruin her life. She should have thought of that before committing federal crimes. Update 5. The courtroom. The preliminary hearing was last week. Nicole showed up looking like she was going to a cocktail party, not court. Her lawyer had clearly told her to dress conservatively, but she ignored him. The prosecutor laid it out. Attempted identity theft, the credit application. Wire fraud attempt, $5,000 transfer, credit card fraud, the Amazon purchases to her friend's house, conspiracy to commit fraud, the unsigned 401k papers. Derek testified about her history of financial exploitation. I testified about finding the documents. The bank's fraud investigator testified about the wire attempt. Nicole's defense? It was a misunderstanding. I thought we were basically common law married. The judge actually laughed. Ma'am, this state doesn't recognize common law marriage, and even if it did, that wouldn't give you the right to open credit accounts in someone else's name. She took a plea deal. 6 months probation, 100 hours community service, restitution for the Amazon purchases $3,400, and a no-contact order. But the best part? Her job fired her. Turns out, working in medical billing with a fraud conviction on your record isn't possible. Final update. It's been 2 months since that lunch with Derek. Nicole's living with her parents, working retail, and according to mutual acquaintances, telling everyone I ruined her life over a misunderstanding. Derek and I actually became friends, weirdly enough. He introduced me to his girlfriend, and we've had dinner a few times. He says watching Nicole face consequences was therapeutic after what she put him through. Her parents still send me nasty messages occasionally, calling me heartless. I forward them to my lawyer, who adds them to the no-contact order file. The funniest part? Last week, I heard through the grapevine that Nicole tried to reconnect with Brad, the guy she cheated on Derek with. Turns out he's married with 3 kids now, and immediately blocked her. Some people asked if I regret not just taking option 1 or 2, dealing with it or leaving quietly. Honestly, no. Option 3, getting the truth and protecting myself legally and financially, was the only real choice once I understood who she really was. She wanted me to accept her keeping her ex around as a backup plan while she tried to drain my accounts. The entitlement was staggering. She genuinely thought she could have her cake, eat it too, and then steal the whole bakery. My credit's locked down tight now. 2-factor on everything. Trust but verify is my new motto. Actually, scratch that. Just verify. To anyone dealing with a similar situation, document everything. Protect your assets. Don't let emotional manipulation override your gut instincts. And sometimes, the nuclear option isn't revenge. It's just consequences catching up. Oh, and Derek sent me a text yesterday. Saw Nicole at the grocery store. She was arguing with the cashier about an expired coupon for 50 cents off dish soap. Karma's really making her work for every penny now. I'm not proud of how it all went down, but I'm not sorry either. She gave me an ultimatum thinking she held all the cards. Turns out she was playing poker while I was playing chess. And I chose option 3.